Chapter 2401. However, Lu Ming didn't take the Xian family's matter to heart at all. Now his enemies in the primordial realm had basically been eliminated by him. He could almost be at ease. Next, Lu Ming still had two things to do. The first was to deal with the Death Kingdom. The second was the matter of the Hunyuan sect's inheritors. Back then, he passed the Hunyuan sect's assessment and obtained the position of the Hunyuan sect's gold inheritor. At that time, he obtained a list. That list recorded the inheritors of the Hunyuan sect since ancient times, such as the silver inheritors and the bronze inheritors. According to the rules, these inheritors had to obey Lu Ming. However, in the past, Lu Ming didn't dare to rely on his status as a gold inheritor to go and order these people, because most of these people were now martial emperors. Among them, there were even true emperors and great emperors. With Lu Ming's previous strength, if he went to these people, he would probably be slapped to death by them. But now he could. Lu Ming planned to subdue all these people first, then get rid of the Death Kingdom. However, to subdue those people, he needed to wait until the news of the Aeon City spread. That way, it would be much more convenient to do it. Lu Ming and the others stayed in the Aeon City. News of the battle in the Aeon City spread like a hurricane. Not only did it spread in the Divine Fate Land, but it also spread to other regions. For a time, a magnitude 12 earthquake occurred in the primordial realm. Lu Ming returned with a strong force and destroyed the overlord of the Aeon City, the Mu family, in one fell swoop. He killed all the experts of the Mu family and displayed a terrifying combat strength. But the most shocking thing was that in the end, a heavenly emperor figure wanted to kill Lu Ming, but he was easily killed by Lu Ming's subordinates. Lu Ming's subordinates actually had a terrifying heavenly emperor figure. Everyone who heard this news was violently shocked. They knew that Lu Ming had risen against the heavens. Back then, Lu Ming was asserted by a heavenly emperor that he would never become an emperor in this life. Many people called him trash. But how many years had it been? Lu Ming rose to power. His battle prowess was terrifyingly strong. He killed more than a dozen great emperors from the Mu clan alone. That was more than 10 great emperors. What kind of battle record was that? It was simply frightening. What was even more terrifying was that Lu Ming still had the Celestial Varch as his subordinate. When people heard this, they were dumbfounded and speechless. Everyone knew that an invincible figure had risen with an unstoppable momentum. Time passed quickly, and a month passed in the blink of an eye. Over the past month, the entire Yuan continent had been talking about Lu Ming. It's time. The first one is the Lu family. They happen to be in Aeon City. In an inn in Aeon City, the corners of Lu Ming's mouth curled into a smile. Then he led Dandan and the others in a certain direction. The Lu family was a powerful force in Aeon City. Their strength was not any weaker than the Xian family. According to the Hunyuan sect's list, the ancestor of the Lu family was the inheritor of the Hunyuan sect. Furthermore, he was a silver inheritor. The Lu family was considered one of the strongest forces among the inheritors of the Hunyuan sect. As soon as Lu Ming moved, those who had been paying attention to Lu Ming immediately knew about it. Immediately, countless people followed Lu Ming from afar. Where is Lu Ming going? This direction seems to be the direction of the Lu family. Could it be that Lu Ming is going to the Lu family? Many people secretly guessed. Now, it could be said that Lu Ming's every move was affecting people's hearts. The Lu family had also received the news early. The entire upper echelon of the Lu family was alarmed. Some of the Lu family's founding members who were in seclusion came out one after another. The Lu family fell into a tense atmosphere. Lu Ming was coming to the Lu family? What for? Could it be that someone in the Lu family had offended Lu Ming? The upper echelons of the Lu family were extremely anxious. Lu Ming's speed was neither fast nor slow. Soon he arrived at the Lu family. As soon as Lu Ming arrived, a large group of figures flew out of the Lu family. Some of the leaders were white-haired old men. They were all experts of the Lu family, and there were more than a dozen great emperors. Little brother Lu Ming, we're honored by your presence. Sorry for not coming out to meet you. The Lu family head stepped forward and cupped his fists repeatedly with a smile on his face. He was very polite. Not to mention other things, Lu Ming's strength alone was worthy of him being polite. Now no one would treat Lu Ming as a young junior. Instead, they would treat him as a powerful emperor with unfathomable abilities. You're welcome. Lu Ming cupped his fists casually. I wonder what brings little brother Lu Ming to my Lu family? The Lu family had asked tentatively. I want to see Lu Gao. Lu Ming said bluntly. Lu Gao was the ancestor of the Lu family. You want to see the ancestor? The Lu family head's expression changed. Why? I can't, Lu Ming said. Of course you can. However, the ancestor is in seclusion. We can inform him. Little brother Lu Ming can come in and have a seat first. How about it? The Lu family head said. All right. Lu Ming nodded and followed the Lu family's people into the Lu family's residence. The Lu family had immediately served delicious wine and delicacies. Lu Ming smiled slightly. This was the change brought about by strength. If he didn't have the battle with the Mu family and didn't have the reputation and strength, Lu Ming would probably be slapped to death by the Lu family's experts if he rashly went to the Lu family and asked to see their ancestor. But now, the other party wanted to serve him politely. He just had to wait. Lu Ming, Autumn Moon, and the others chatted while waiting. They didn't have to wait for too long. The Lu family head and the others followed an old man with a face full of wrinkles. I'm Lu Gao. Greetings, little brother Lu. The old man greeted with a smile as soon as he arrived. This old man was the ancestor of the Lu family, Lu Gao. He was also the silver successor of the Hunyuan sect. Obviously, he had heard about Lu Ming, which was why he was so polite. Senior, you're too polite. Lu Ming also smiled slightly. Little brother Lu Ming, why are you looking for me? Lu Gao asked with a puzzled look in his eyes. Senior, do you remember what this is? A token appeared in Lu Ming's hand. This token was the gold successor token of the Hunyuan sect. Seeing this token, Lu Gao's expression suddenly changed and he blurted out, the gold successor of the Hunyuan sect. Senior, do you still remember the oath back then? Lu Ming asked with a smile. Lu Gao's expression changed rapidly. With his cultivation, the oath back then couldn't restrain him at all. He could completely break free from the shackles of the oath. However, the person in front of him was Lu Ming, an unparalleled genius who had just annihilated the Mu family. Moreover, behind him stood several terrifying celestial emperors. He had to be cautious. Lu Gao naturally remembers the oath back then. After saying that, Lu Gao moved and a token appeared in his hand. It was the silver successor token of the Hunyuan sect. Lu Ming didn't say anything and waited for Lu Gao to continue. Chapter 2402. I sensed the appearance of a gold inheritor decades ago, but I didn't expect it to be you. I'm Lu Gao. Greetings, young master. After that, Lu Gao cupped his fists and bowed deeply to Lu Ming. On the side, the Lu family head and the others were dumbfounded. Senior, there's no need to be so polite. Please rise. Lu Ming smiled. Lu Gao's action was equivalent to surrendering to Lu Ming. What are you waiting for? Bow to the young master. From now on, the Lu family will follow the young master's lead. If the young master has any orders in the future, the Lu family will follow him to death. Lu Gao looked at the Lu family head and the others. So it's the gold inheritor of the Hunyuan sect. The Lu family's upper echelons had already guessed what was going on. They looked at each other, and then bowed to Lu Ming. If an ordinary genius came with the Hunyuan sect's gold inheritor token, they would have driven him out even if they didn't kill him on the spot. However, Lu Ming was different. Lu Ming's talent was too amazing. Now that his strength was unparalleled, his future was limitless. It was not impossible for the Lu family to submit to Lu Ming. Everyone please rise. Lu Ming hurriedly helped the Lu family's upper echelons up. Since the other party was willing to submit to him, it was natural that they had taken a fancy to his strength and potential. Naturally, he would not put on an overbearing appearance. Just remember this. I still have to go somewhere else. Goodbye. After saying that, Lu Ming directly stepped into the air and left. After Lu Ming and the others came out, many people were speculating. They didn't know what happened to Lu Ming in the Lu family. Lu Ming didn't stay. Soon he left Aeon City and went to his next target. Tianwen sect, a huge force in the Divine Land. Its strength was not inferior to the Lu family. An ancestor of the Tianwen sect was also a silver inheritor of the Hunyuan sect. After Lu Ming's arrival, everyone in the Tianwen sect was polite. This trip was also very successful. The patriarch of the Tianwen sect was willing to submit. The main reason was that he had killed a heavenly emperor in the Battle of Aeon City. This was too much of a deterrent. Those sects and forces did not dare to resist at all. If Lu Ming wanted to destroy them in a fit of anger, they would not be able to resist. Following that, Lu Ming went to one force after another according to the list. There were both big and small powers, and they were not limited to the Divine Fate land. There were also other regions. Lu Ming used a full 3 months to visit all of these forces. In the past 3 months, Lu Ming had almost traveled all over the Yuan continent. None of those forces dared to rebel. They all obediently submitted. This way, Lu Ming's invisible power was already extremely terrifying. It spread throughout the Yuan continent. At that time, as long as Lu Ming waved his arm, experts would gather and shake the world. After settling these matters, Lu Ming returned to Celestial City and asked Autumn Moon to stay in Celestial City. It's time to get rid of the Nation of Death. A cold light flashed in Lu Ming's eyes. He would not be at ease if he did not get rid of this force. At that moment he brought Dandan, Bubbles, 2E, and Lei back to the Divine Fate land. After arriving at the Divine Fate land, Lu Ming followed the memories of the Nation of Death's assassin and headed towards a barren place. Here, they found a remote teleportation formation. Through this teleportation formation, they arrived at a hidden cave. However, this was far from their destination. They left the cave and went to a secluded place tens of thousands of miles away. They found another teleportation formation and teleported away. Just like that, they were teleported 9 times. After the 9th teleportation, they finally arrived at their destination. Below the ground, a huge plaza suddenly emitted a dazzling light. Lu Ming, Dandan, Bubbles, 2E, and Lei appeared. Who are you people? As soon as Lu Ming and the rest appeared, they heard a cold shout. Lu Ming looked around and saw a few figures around the plaza. They were looking at them in shock. We are the ones who will kill you, Lu Ming said coldly and threw out a punch. These few people had just entered the martial emperor realm. How could they block Lu Ming's punch? They were directly smashed into pieces. What a huge city! Lu Ming and the rest looked ahead. In front of them, a huge city stood there. The city walls were inlaid with glowing stones, giving the place some light. This ancient city was underground. It was the ancient city in the Nation of Death's assassins' memories, the headquarters of the Nation of Death. The place where they were now was a plaza in front of the ancient city's gate. Enemy attack. At that moment, a sharp cry came from the ancient city, startling the entire city. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. In the ancient city, there were constantly black shadows flashing. They were all assassins from the Nation of Death. Today, we will destroy the Nation of Death. Lu Ming took the lead and stepped forward. The group moved quickly and approached the ancient city in an instant. There were no defensive arrays in the ancient city. The Nation of Death had never been found in the countless years. Naturally, there was no need for any defensive arrays. They easily passed through the city walls. Kill! Kill them! As soon as they entered the ancient city, sharp sword glows stabbed at them from all directions. However, these sword lights all stopped halfway. Bubbles used the space-time law to freeze them in the air. Return! Bubbles waved his small hand and these sword lights shot back at an even faster speed than before. Puff! 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 Blood splattered and miserable screams filled the air. Dozens of black-clothed assassins died on the spot, stabbed to death by their own sword lights. However, in the ancient city, black shadows flashed and more assassins rushed over. Lu Ming's body emitted 17 different kinds of light. These lights condensed into spear lights that shot out in all directions. At the same time, Bubbles and Dandan also attacked. Attacks shot out in all directions. Puff! Puff! The black-clothed assassins were killed continuously. Their corpses fell to the ground like raindrops. The strongest among these assassins was only a true emperor. Naturally, they were not a match for Bubbles, and were killed in large numbers. 2E and Lei did not attack. They were brought here as a precaution. There was no need for them to take care of these assassins. They moved forward like tigers in a flock of sheep. The assassins in black were killed by them continuously. They continued to advance towards the center of the city. Retreat. A voice came from the center of the city. In an instant, the black-clothed assassins retreated rapidly and disappeared without a trace. However, there was a terrifying killing intent in the center of the city. 1, 2, 3. There were more than 30 auras, and every one of them was extremely terrifying. Every one of them emitted an extremely cold, murderous intent. Great emperors. These auras belong to great emperors. Chapter 2403. Swoosh. Swoosh. In the depths of the Death God Nation's ancient city, there were more than 30 great emperors. Lu Ming. When they saw Lu Ming's appearance, someone exclaimed. The martial monarchs came to a stop. Their eyes were filled with terror. They did not expect Lu Ming to be the one who made it here. The Death God Nation naturally knew about the battle in Aeon City. They did not expect Lu Ming to find the headquarters of the Death God Nation. They looked at Tu Yi and Lei Yi who were behind Lu Ming, and were even more terrified. Retreat, get out of here. One of them shouted and retreated quickly. There were heavenly emperors around Lu Ming. How were they going to fight? They would die if they went up to fight. Now they only wanted to escape from here. Senior Tu Yi, Senior Lei Yi, sorry to trouble you. Lu Ming transmitted his voice to Tu Yi and Lei Yi. There were so many great emperors. If he wanted to kill them all, he could only ask Tu Yi and Lei Yi for help. I can do it alone. Lei Yi was the first to speak. He then turned into a bolt of lightning and rushed out. Tu Yi smiled and did not make a move. Zzz. After Lei Yi rushed out, the sky was suddenly filled with endless lightning. Bolts of lightning that were thicker than an arm covered the sky like a spider web and blasted towards the 30 great emperors. These bolts of lightning were not ordinary bolts of lightning. They were superpowers that Lei Yi condensed with the heavenly Tao. Bam! Bam! Those great emperors were struck by the lightning. They did not even have time to scream before they were blasted into ashes. Ordinary great emperors would be killed instantly when facing a heavenly emperor. More than 30 great emperor realm assassins were slaughtered in an instant. All of you die. Lei Yi did not stop there. He waved his hand and a ball of lightning appeared in the sky. This ball of lightning floated in the sky above the ancient city. It then exploded and turned into countless bolts of lightning. They were like raindrops as they blasted towards the assassins in the ancient city. Bam! 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 In an instant, countless assassins in the ancient city were killed by the lightning and turned into ashes. It was unknown how many assassins there were in the headquarters of the Grim Reaper Nation, but at this moment, almost all of them were wiped out. And, at this moment, a cold light flashed in Lei Yi's eyes as he headed towards the depths of the ancient city. Lu Ming and the others quickly followed. Whoosh! 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 In the depths of the ancient city, 7 or 8 figures were moving rapidly in another direction at an incredible speed. Peak Great Emperor. Lu Ming's heart trembled. These 7 to 8 figures were all peak Great Emperors. The Death Kingdom's strength was truly terrifying. One should know that a great force like the Mu clan only had 2 peak Great Emperors. In Death Kingdom there were a total of 8 peak Great Emperors. Moreover, their speed was astonishing. If only Lu Ming and Dandan were here, they probably wouldn't be able to stop them. But now with Tu Yi, Lei Yi, and the others, it was different. You still want to run in front of me? Lei Yi sneered and took a step forward. His figure directly turned into a bolt of lightning and rushed out. In an instant, he caught up with the other party. Sizzle! Lightning filled Lei Yi's hand, forming a lightning spear that pierced out. Quickly destroy that crystal pagoda. At this moment, one of the 8 people shouted. Bam! In the next moment, the 8 people were pierced by the lightning spear. Although the 8 of them were peak Great Emperors, they were completely useless in the face of the heavenly Thearcha's attack. Ah! A few of them actually let out ear-piercing screams. A black shadow was violently twisting in their bodies. There was actually a third eye in between the eyebrows of this black shadow. Evil God Tribe. Seeing this black shadow, Lu Ming was shocked. In an instant he thought of many things. Back then, The evil spirit sect and the demon spirit sect were also founded by the evil god tribe. Obviously, the Death Kingdom was the same as the evil spirit sect and the demon spirit sect. They were all founded by the evil god tribe. No wonder they often assassinated the experts and geniuses of the primordial realm. Those figures twisted a few times, then turned into ashes and dissipated. Crystal Pagoda. In the next moment, Lu Ming thought of the Crystal Pagoda. Before that evil god tribe expert died, he shouted, "Quickly destroy that Crystal Pagoda." Since an evil god tribe expert was still thinking about it, that Crystal Pagoda must be very important. "Find that Crystal Pagoda," Lu Ming shouted. "Found it." Bubbles spoke. Then she waved her hands, and a space-time tunnel appeared in the air. On the other side of the space-time tunnel, there was a crystal pagoda that was about 3 meters tall. It was sparkling and covered with all kinds of runes. And 2 black-clothed assassins were rushing toward the crystal pagoda. Obviously, they wanted to destroy the crystal pagoda. "Don't even think about it in front of me." Sizzle, Lei directly rushed through the space-time tunnel. 2 bolts of lightning burst out and killed the 2 black-clothed assassins. Then Lu Ming, Dandan, Bubbles, and 2E also rushed through the space-time tunnel and arrived at the crystal pagoda. The crystal pagoda was densely covered with runes, dazzling and colorful. "What is this?" Lu Ming looked at it carefully and was a little puzzled. Could it be the array foundation of a great array? So it's this kind of thing. Dandan touched his chin and looked like he was in deep thought. "Dandan, do you know what this is?" Lu Ming asked curiously. "Of course I know. This is the oldest kind of message transmission tool. It's almost lost now. It seems like the evil god tribe still has this kind of message transmission tool." Dandan said. "Message transmission tool?" Lu Ming's eyes lit up and said, "Dandan, can you decipher the message inside?" "The message transmission tool of the evil god tribe. For the evil god tribe to value it so much, there might be some incredible news inside." "Young master, I'll go and get rid of the remaining assassins." Lei Yi's figure swayed and left. As for Dandan, he started to wander around the crystal pagoda and started to study it. After a while, Lei Yi returned. Obviously, he had gotten rid of all the assassins and even brought back all the storage rings of the assassins. This was an incomparably huge harvest. The Death God Nation had been accumulating resources for so many years. Now all of them belonged to Lu Ming. Lu Ming kept all of them. If the Dragon Alliance wanted to develop in the future, they would definitely need a huge amount of resources. The more they accumulated now, the better. Dandan continued to study. After a few hours, Dandan started to take action. Runes entered the crystal pagoda one after another. "Open." After Dandan circled the crystal pagoda 360 times, he bellowed and took a step forward. Countless runes covered the crystal pagoda. Buzz. A buzzing sound came from the crystal pagoda. The top of the crystal pagoda shone brightly. Then streams of information spread out from the crystal pagoda. It was very strange. They stood at the side of the crystal pagoda and could clearly see the information. In fact, there were even images that appeared. When Lu Ming came into contact with some of the information, his eyes widened and he was shocked. Chapter 2404. Lu Ming was shocked when he saw some of the information and pictures in the crystal pagoda. Not only Lu Ming but Dandan, Bubbles, 2E, and Lei Yi were also shocked and in disbelief. From the information in the crystal pagoda, they understood that the other tribes wanted to open a huge passageway to the primordial realm. Yes, the other tribes had been carrying out this plan for many years. A picture appeared in the crystal pagoda. In this picture, there was an unknown region where countless alien races were gathered. They were setting up a massive array formation, and the foundation of this array formation was some white bones. With these white bones as the foundation, a huge passageway was opened. Chirp, chirp, chirp. Seeing this picture, Bubbles kept crying out. She appeared to be very indignant, anxious, and furious. The bones of a space-time spirit mouse. Damn it! The other tribes obtained the bones of the previous generation of space-time spirit mice and used them to open a passageway. Dandan also roared angrily. The bones of a space-time spirit mouse. Lu Ming understood everything. It seemed that after the death of the previous generation of space-time spirit mice, their corpses fell into the hands of the other tribes. Space-time spirit mice could control space-time and use space-time to the extreme. Every drop of blood and hair on their bodies were related to space-time. The other tribes used the bones of the space-time spirit mice to set up a large formation. It was indeed possible to open a huge and stable passageway in the boundless void that could allow a large number of other tribes to pass through. And the destination of this passageway was the primordial realm. Where is it? Lu Ming became anxious and continued to read the information in the crystal pagoda. Not long after, they made a discovery. On a huge island, there were black-robed figures flashing. In the sky, there was a huge vortex. Obviously, the people from the Nation of Death were cooperating with the evil god tribe to open a passageway in the primordial realm. It's overseas. Not long after, they finally arrived at the specific location. It was not on the primordial realm, but overseas. This crystal pagoda actually hid such a secret. No wonder that other tribe member wanted to destroy it even when he was dying. Lu Ming and the others were secretly scared. If the other tribes opened this passageway and invaded, the primordial realm would be finished. Once the primordial realm was destroyed, the Grand Clarity Celestial Domain would also be in danger. After carefully examining the information in the crystal pagoda, they finally stopped. Let's go. Let's kill the people from the Death God Nation first. Then we'll inform the experts of the Heaven Realm and have them send people to guard that place. Lu Ming's eyes were filled with cold killing intent. He was secretly afraid. Fortunately, they found out. Otherwise, the consequences would be unimaginable. Kill, we must kill them, chirp chirp. Bubble also cried out, waving his arms and legs with a ferocious look. The previous generation's space-time spirit mouse was equivalent to Bubble's mother. But now after her death, her bones were being used by the outsiders to torment her. It would be strange if she wasn't filled with killing intent. Once the plan was set, they immediately left the place and flew towards the north. According to the information they had gathered, the destination of the other tribe's passageway was the boundless sea to the north of Yuanlu. That place, like the divine wilderness continent, was known as the Barren Land. However, that place wasn't as remote as the divine wilderness continent, and it wasn't as far from Yuanlu as the divine wilderness continent. Tu Yi and Lei Yi led Lu Ming, Dandan, and Bubble to the north of Yuanlu. With their heavenly emperor realm cultivation, their speed was simply too fast. Not long after, they left the Yuan continent and arrived at the boundless ocean. They followed the sea and headed north. 2 days later, they finally approached their destination. There was a huge island in front of them. Rather than calling it an island, it was better to call it a continent. A continent like the divine wilderness continent. Its surface area was even bigger than the divine wilderness continent. However, compared to Yuanlu, it was like an island. Above the island, a huge vortex was suspended there, enveloping the entire island. It could be seen that once the passageway was opened, it would be huge. In an instant, countless evil god tribe members would rush in. From afar, they could see shadows flickering on the island. They were all assassins from the Death God Nation. Looking at the situation, that passageway shouldn't have been opened yet. The Death God Nation is cooperating with the evil god tribe to open the passageway as soon as possible. Dandan said softly, "Let's attack and kill the people from the Death God Nation first, then destroy the formation here." Lu Ming said. The others nodded. Swoosh. Swoosh. They moved. They didn't hide anymore and rushed towards the island. In a few breaths' time, they were close to the island. There's someone. Oh no, we've been discovered. Kill them. Black-clothed men rose from the island. There were more than 1,000 of them, and they attacked Lu Ming and the others. Swoosh. Swoosh. More than 1,000 sword lights came from all directions and attacked Lu Ming and the others like raindrops. Die. Lei Yi shouted coldly and struck out with his palm. Endless thunderbolts formed and covered the sky like a spider web. They rushed towards the black-clothed men. Those black-clothed men couldn't resist at all, and were killed instantly. From afar, the black-clothed men looked like thousands of mosquitoes that landed on the ground. Kill. Lu Ming shouted coldly and rushed into the island. This island was really huge. It was like a continent. There were countless assassins from the Death God Nation on this island. Obviously, the other creatures on this island had been killed by them long ago. As Lu Ming and the others went deeper into the island, black-clothed men rushed out from all over the island. Humans of the primordial realm kill. Suddenly, roars sounded. In the depths of the island, burly figures rushed towards Lu Ming and the others. Their auras were extremely shocking. Great emperors. There were at least dozens of great emperors rushing towards them. The most shocking thing was that these great emperors were actually from the evil god tribe. How could there be so many people from the evil god tribe in the primordial realm? Oh no, that passage might have been torn open a little. That's why some evil god tribe members entered. Dandan's expression changed and became extremely solemn. If that was really the case, then this passage was not far from being completely opened. In an instant, those evil god tribe members had already rushed over. Die for me. The Great Baron's spear appeared in Lu Ming's hand. The Great Baron's spear shook and spear lights flew out, instantly killing several great emperors. At the same time, 2E and the others also attacked. With 2 heavenly emperors attacking, the great emperors were no match at all and were constantly killed. However, more figures flew out from the depths of the island. They were all from the evil god tribe. Their numbers were huge and shocking. Judging from their auras, there were more than 100 great emperors. And the number was still increasing. The number of peak great emperors was not small. Kill as many as come. Tu Yi's eyes were filled with killing intent. The meteor hammer appeared in his hand and emitted a terrifying aura. Boom. The meteor hammer suddenly blasted out like a planet smashing forward. Chapter 2405. The meteor hammer was a heavenly Dao weapon and was extremely terrifying. Under Tu Yi's control, its power was even more shocking. This attack was like an incomparably huge star smashing out. If it hit the ground, this island would be shattered. Heavenly Dao weapon, it's the Heavenly Emperor. Not good. The expressions of those evil god tribe members changed drastically as they retreated rapidly. But how could their speed be faster than the meteor hammer? It looked like the meteor hammer was about to hit them. People of the primordial realm, how dare you kill the experts of my tribe? You're courting death. At this moment, a roar suddenly came from the depths of the island. Then, an incomparably huge palm stretched out from the depths of the island. This palm was covered with pitch-black scales that covered the sky and the sun. It collided with the meteor hammer. Boom. It was like the end of the world. After an extremely violent boom, the meteor hammer actually trembled and was struck back by this palm. As for that palm, it was completely fine. After colliding with the heavenly Dao weapon, there was actually nothing wrong with the palm. Not even a single scale fell off. That palm stretched back, and then a figure suddenly appeared in the sky. This was a member of the evil god tribe, and his entire body was covered with black scales. He looked like an ordinary member of the evil god tribe, but his body shape was very different from ordinary members of the evil god tribe. Ordinary members of the evil god tribe were all tall and burly, but this member of the evil god tribe was about the same as an ordinary person. Moreover, his physique was well proportioned and slender. Other than the scales all over his body and the third eye between his brows, he was no different from a human. However, the aura emitted from his body was extremely terrifying and powerful. Not good, it's a peerless expert. Tu Yi's expression changed drastically as he roared. There was actually a peerless expert here. Only existences above the level of a 4-star heavenly emperor could be called peerless experts. Kill. The peerless expert of the evil god tribe shouted coldly. With a wave of his hand, his palm rapidly enlarged and pressed down on Tu Yi. At the same time, a beam of destructive light burst forth from his third eye. It turned into a destructive battle sword and slashed toward Lu Ming and the others. Tu Yi unleashed his full strength and controlled the meteor hammer to attack. As for Lei Yi, he opened his mouth and a battle sword that shone with lightning flew out. It emitted a terrifying aura and attacked the evil god tribe member. This was Lei Yi's heavenly Dao soldier. The Primal Chaos Palace originally had 2 Heaven Dao soldiers. One was with Lightning 1 and the other was with Gold 1. Boom. Boom. Thunder 1 and Earth 1 were blocked by 2 consecutive terrifying explosions. They couldn't do anything to each other. Heavenly Dao soldiers, 2 Heavenly Dao soldiers. Ha ha ha, my luck is not bad. They are all mine. The supreme expert of the evil god race laughed uproariously. He unleashed his full strength and attacked 2-1 and Lei 1. 2E and Lei E also unleashed their full strength and engaged in a fierce battle with the other party. However, it was difficult to determine the winner in such a short period of time. The 2 of them were entangled and unable to escape. Young master, leave quickly. Tuyi roared. This time, it was impossible for them to destroy the other party. Things had gone beyond their expectations. The outsiders had actually managed to tear open a hole in the passageway. Not only were there a large number of experts entering, there was even a supreme expert among them. This peerless powerhouse had the cultivation of a 4-star heavenly emperor, incomparably powerful. 2-1 and Lei 1's cultivation were both 2-star heavenly emperors. Even with the heavenly Dao soldiers, the 2 of them could only barely protect themselves against the other party. This was also because the other party didn't have any heavenly Dao soldiers. If the other party also had heavenly Dao soldiers, they would be dead for sure. The only thing they could do now was to delay the other party and let Lu Ming and the rest escape, so that they could pass the news to the heaven domain. 2-1 Lei 1 Lu Ming roared. Leave quickly, young master. We must leave. The news here must be spread. Don't worry about us. We have our own ways to escape. Lei 1 also shouted. Let's go. Lu Ming gritted his teeth and no longer hesitated. He turned around and left. However, at this moment, large groups of evil god tribe members had already surrounded them. Wave after wave of attacks were launched towards them. Kill. Lu Ming's eyes were bloodshot as he continuously swept out his spear. Bang. Bang. The bodies of those who were swept by Lu Ming's long spear exploded, regardless of whether it was a true emperor or a great emperor. Kitai. An abnormally burly evil god race held a battle axe and exchanged a blow with Lu Ming. A terrifying force surged over. Lu Ming's body shook violently, and he couldn't help but retreat. Peak Great Emperor. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. With Lu Ming's current battle strength, if he went all out, he could contend against a 6-star Great Emperor. However, he was definitely not a match for a Peak Great Emperor. In addition, Dandan and Bubble had also encountered a strong enemy. Bubble's cultivation had yet to break through to the Great Emperor realm. In such a battle, he wouldn't be of much use. He stood on Lu Ming's shoulder and supported Lu Ming. As for Dandan, he was surrounded by several Peak Great Emperors. However, Dandan's battle strength was extremely strong. He completely suppressed those few Peak Great Emperors and forced them to retreat. Swoosh. Suddenly, Dandan gave up on attacking. His figure flashed as he charged towards Lu Ming's side. With one move, he sent the evil god race member who attacked Lu Ming flying. The evil god race member coughed out blood. Lu Ming, follow me and charge out. Dandan shouted and charged forward. Every time he attacked, it was like a world was blasted out. Even Peak Great Emperors couldn't block it. Bang. Bang. A few Peak Great Emperors were sent flying by Dandan and coughed out blood. Everyone, stop them. Don't let them escape. The evil god race's expert shouted. Kill. Kill them. A large group of evil god race members charged over and charged towards Lu Ming and the others without any regard for their lives. Space-time. Bubble waved his small hands continuously, wanting to seal the space-time and block those evil god race members. Unfortunately, Bubble's cultivation was too weak. Those below the Great Emperor level were blocked by him, but those above the Great Emperor level, especially those high-level Great Emperors, Bubble couldn't block them at all. The evil god race members struggled and broke free from Bubble's space-time power. As for those Peak Great Emperors, they ignored Bubble's space-time power and charged towards Lu Ming and the others. There were too many of them. Although Dandan's battle strength was strong and could suppress experts of the same level, there were too many of them. Under the constant attacks, Dandan couldn't take it anymore. In just a short while, there were at least 10 Peak Great Emperors surrounding Dandan. Their path was blocked and it was difficult for them to charge out. Rumble. At this moment, the whirlpool above the island let out a deafening roar. It was as if someone was attacking the passage with all their might, wanting to break through and come here. Lu Ming and the others became anxious. If there were even stronger evil god race members coming over, they would really be finished. Roar. Dandan roared and transformed into his true form. His attack power was even stronger. Pooh. A peak great emperor from the evil god race was careless and was hit by Dandan. His body and soul were directly destroyed. However, at the same time, dozens of attacks landed on Dandan's body. These attacks were all from 6-star great emperors, or even peak great emperors. With so many attacks, even though Dandan's defense was shocking, he couldn't take it and was forced to retreat. Chapter 2406. Let's kill the 2 weaker ones first. An evil god tribe member shouted. Instantly, 2 peak emperor realm evil god tribe members went around Dandan and charged towards Lu Ming and Bubble. Before they even arrived, 2 terrifying rays of destructive light had already shot towards Lu Ming. Lu Ming unleashed all his strength as 17 types of laws covered his body. His muscles trembled as he swung his great desolation spear. Boom. Boom. The 2 rays of destructive light struck the great desolation spear. The great desolation spear shook violently as the power of laws on it crumbled. The 2 rays of energy surged towards Lu Ming, causing him to spit out large mouthfuls of blood as wounds appeared on his body. Against 2 peak emperor realm experts, Lu Ming was no match for them and was injured in one move. Fortunately, Lu Ming's defense was amazing, and he was using the indestructible ancient scripture. His injuries were recovering rapidly, and it didn't affect his battle strength much. What should I do? Lu Ming thought quickly. With his current strength, he couldn't defeat a peak emperor realm expert. The heavenly emperor's physical body didn't have much energy stored. If he wanted to deal with a peak emperor realm expert, the heavenly emperor's physical body had to be at 100% energy, or it would be useless. Under such circumstances, even if the heavenly emperor's physical body was at 100% energy, it would be useless as there were too many of them. At this moment, there were close to 20 peak emperor realm experts, and there were even more emperor realm experts of other realms. In the depths of the island, there were still foreign races rushing over. There was an army of foreign races stationed on this island. Lu Ming still had the fallen star bow, but Lu Ming's cultivation was only at the true emperor realm. Even if he used the fallen star bow, it wouldn't be of much use. In addition, Lu Ming still had the divine 9-dragon cauldron. Unfortunately, the divine 9-dragon cauldron's energy seemed to have been depleted after the previous battle. All these years, there was no movement from it at all. Lu Ming couldn't control it. Now he only had one trump card, and that was his 3rd bloodline. In the past, he didn't dare to use his 3rd bloodline because it was too evil. Its power seemed to be limitless. But every time he used the power of his 3rd bloodline, he felt like he would be corroded by the power of his 3rd bloodline and become a killing puppet. However, in today's situation, he had no choice but to use it. Otherwise, they would all have to stay here. Someone had to escape and spread the news. Otherwise, the safety of the Heaven's origin sector and all of Lu Ming's family and friends would be at stake. Come on! Lu Ming's eyes flashed viciously. With a thought, his 3rd bloodline appeared, and a surge of power poured out of it into Lu Ming's body. Kill, kill, kill. Lu Ming's mind was filled with roars, as a cold murderous intent was emitted from Lu Ming's body. His eyes had turned blood red, and so had his hair. Whoosh, whoosh. Lu Ming thrust out his spear twice. 2 streaks of spear light clashed with the 2 peak heavenly emperors of the evil god tribe. With 2 loud explosions, Lu Ming's figure swayed, and he retreated a few steps. However, the attacks of the 2 evil god tribe members were also blocked by Lu Ming. What is this? Doubt and seriousness flashed in the eyes of the 2 evil god tribe members. Lu Ming's sudden increase in power puzzled them. Not enough, still not enough. Again. Lu Ming roared in his heart. More energy from his 3rd bloodline surged into Lu Ming's body, causing Lu Ming's murderous intent to become even stronger. Kill! Lu Ming shouted and charged toward the 2 evil god tribe members. This time, Lu Ming's power had increased greatly, completely suppressing the 2 evil god tribe members. Pung! Pung! The 2 evil god tribe members were sent flying by Lu Ming. However, they were not seriously injured and only suffered some light injuries. Not enough, still not enough. Lu Ming roared in his heart. Today, borrowing a bit of power was far from enough. He needed to have overwhelming power to escape. Boom. The third bloodline was like a boundless sea of blood, filled with boundless power. At this moment, the sea of blood was churning as waves of power surged into Lu Ming's body. Blood mist kept spreading out from Lu Ming's body. Bone spikes even appeared on Lu Ming's body. Lu Ming's appearance became incomparably ferocious. Bubbles was shocked and flew away from Lu Ming's body. Big brother Lu Ming. Bubbles was extremely anxious. Bubbles had seen Lu Ming's appearance before. Back then, Lu Ming had almost lost himself and become a killing puppet. Bubbles, leave quickly. Lu Ming roared. At this moment, his willpower was severely challenged. His heart was filled with endless killing intent. He only retained a trace of willpower to control himself. Roar. Next, Lu Ming let out a roar and charged towards Dandan. At this moment, Lu Ming kept his great spear of the wilderness. This was because his claws had become extremely sharp. Kill. Lu Ming roared and clawed at a foreign race peak great emperor. Poof. This foreign race peak great emperor couldn't resist at all. Lu Ming broke through his attack in defense. Then Lu Ming grabbed his body and tore it into two. Next, Lu Ming charged towards the other foreign races. Saint Ancestor Sha Xian, it's Saint Ancestor Sha Xian. Saint Ancestor Sha Xian is still alive. Ha ha ha. We must take down that kid. In the sky on the other side of the passageway, an excited voice could be heard. Then the passageway shook violently. The weather changed as though it was going to be torn apart at any moment. When the foreign races heard this voice, they became even crazier and charged towards Lu Ming. Die. Lu Ming's eyes were bloodshot. His claws were like knives as he pounced forward. Poof. Poof. One by one, the foreign races were torn apart by Lu Ming. Even a peak great emperor couldn't stop Lu Ming. Those below the peak great emperor level couldn't even withstand a single blow from Lu Ming. They were all killed by Lu Ming in groups. Dandan, Bubbles, charge out with me. Lu Ming roared and charged forward with all his might. Wherever he passed, the foreign races would fall. He had carved out a path of blood. At this moment, Bubbles flew to Dandan. Dandan carried her and followed behind Lu Ming as they charged out together. Don't even think about leaving. The exceptional expert who was fighting with 2E and Lei Yi shouted. He wanted to give up on 2E and Lei Yi and charge towards Lu Ming. However, 2E and Lei Yi didn't care about their lives. They pushed the power of the Heaven Dao soldiers to the maximum and chased after the other party. It wasn't easy for the other party to escape. Rip. At this moment, the passageway in the sky let out a loud roar. Then, an opening was forcefully torn open. One could see that there were two hands on both sides of the opening. They opened the opening and tore with all their might. The opening slowly became bigger and turned into a space crack. Boom. A towering figure suddenly charged out from the crack and appeared in the sky above the island. The towering figure was burly and was covered in purple scales. He was emitting a terrifying aura. Heaven Emperor. This was a heavenly emperor realm powerhouse. Although this foreign race wasn't as powerful as the exceptional expert, he was indeed a Heaven Emperor realm elite. Oh no! 2E, Lei Yi, Dandan and the rest were shocked. Chapter 2407. At the critical moment, a heavenly emperor of the foreign races had forcefully crossed the void and descended from the other world. Even an ordinary heavenly emperor might be able to change the outcome of the battle. The foreign race's eyes were ferocious as he looked at Lu Ming and Dandan. He took a step forward and appeared above Lu Ming's group. Boom. A huge mace appeared in his hand as he swung it at Lu Ming. Before the mace arrived, the terrifying force had already caused Dandan, Lu Ming, and the others to have difficulty breathing. Dandan and Lu Ming attacked at the same time. Dandan opened his mouth and spat out a small world. Lu Ming punched out with both fists, forming a blood-red fist energy that blasted towards the mace. Boom. Boom. Two consecutive explosions sounded. Dandan's small world shook violently and flew back into Dandan's body. Dandan's body was pushed back, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. Lu Ming's fist force was also defeated. His body retreated rapidly, as though his entire body was about to be torn apart. The Heavenly Emperor was too strong. With Lu Ming's current strength, although he could kill a peak Great Emperor, he was still no match for a Heavenly Emperor. All of you die. The foreign race's Heavenly Emperor's eyes were ferocious as he charged towards Lu Ming's group. That kid has the bloodline of the Saint Ancestor Sha'Xian. You can't kill him. Take him away. Kill the rest without mercy. Another voice sounded from the other side of the passage. The foreign race's Heavenly Emperor's eyes flashed as he swung his mace at Dandan. Don't even think about it. Lu Ming rushed over and blocked the attack, but his injuries worsened. Rumble. At this moment, the passage shook violently as the crack grew larger. Whoosh. At this moment, another figure rushed out from the crack. This was another foreign race's expert. Judging from his aura, he was also a Heavenly Emperor. Damn it. 2E Lei E, and the others roared anxiously. The outsiders were going all out, constantly sending their experts over. That tunnel hadn't been fully opened yet. If the non-humankind forcibly sent their powerful warriors over, they would definitely have to pay a heavy price. But the outsiders didn't seem to care. It's over. I'm going to die here today. Dandan looked up at the sky and sighed. With two foreign race Heavenly Emperors appearing consecutively, they could not escape. Ha ha ha, surrender. The Heavenly Monarch laughed and swung his mace towards Lu Ming and the others again. The foreign race that came later also charged over. If this goes on, I'll go all out. Power, power, I need power. Lu Ming roared in his heart. As you wish. A cold voice came from the third bloodline. The sea of blood surged, forming a giant human face. Rumble. More and more power surged into Lu Ming's body. Lu Ming's strength was rising steadily. This brat. The eyes of the two foreign race Heavenly Emperors revealed a solemn look. It's the power of Saint Ancestor Sha'Xian. Attack, take him down. A dignified voice came from the other side of the tunnel. Rumble. That tunnel shook even more violently. The foreign race seemed to be worried and wanted to send more experts over. Kill. At this moment, Lu Ming looked up at the sky and roared. At this moment, his will was completely drowned by endless killing intent. At this moment, there was only endless killing intent in Lu Ming's heart. There was nothing else. He forgot everything and was completely controlled by instinct, controlled by killing intent. Kill, kill, kill. Lu Ming roared and charged towards the two foreign race Heavenly Emperors. The two foreign race Heavenly Emperors' faces were solemn. Not daring to hold back, they unleashed their full strength and fought with Lu Ming. Continuous rumbles came. The two foreign race Heavenly Emperors were locked in battle with Lu Ming. The foreign race Heavenly Emperors were actually blocked by Lu Ming. Big brother Lu Ming. Bubbles was extremely anxious. It's over. This brat is completely controlled by killing intent. Dandan was also extremely anxious. Little guy, we must rush out. If no one rushes out, then everything is really over. Dandan transmitted his voice to Bubbles, and then rushed out with all his might. However, there were too many foreign races. They kept rushing towards Dandan, blocking Dandan's path. They were completely in a passive position. 2E and Lei E were blocked. Lu Ming and the two foreign race Heavenly Emperors were fighting fiercely. Dandan and the rest were also blocked. If this continued, they would be left behind sooner or later. Power, power. Lu Ming had already lost his consciousness, only his instincts. He instinctively wanted to tear apart the enemies in front of him and kill all the living beings in front of him. Therefore, the third bloodline still poured an endless stream of power into Lu Ming's body. Lu Ming's power became stronger and stronger. In the beginning, Lu Ming could only fight to a draw with the two foreign race Heavenly Emperors. But slowly, Lu Ming began to gain the upper hand and started suppressing the two foreign race Heavenly Emperors. The two foreign race Heavenly Emperors were beaten back repeatedly by Lu Ming. Puwerk. One of the foreign race Heavenly Emperors was careless and was swept by Lu Ming's sharp claws. A large piece of flesh was immediately torn off, making that foreign race Heavenly Emperor's expression change wildly, retreating repeatedly. Kill. Lu Ming roared and swept out his claw gleams. The surrounding foreign races below the Heavenly Emperor level were swept and directly exploded. turning into the ashes dissipated. It scared those foreign races below Heavenly Emperor, until they retreated repeatedly, not daring to approach Lu Ming at all. Trash! All of you are trash! An angry roar came from that passageway. On the other side of the passageway, on the other side of the endless void, was another world. The world of the foreign races, the evil god realm. In a vast and uninhabited place of the evil god race, there was an incomparably huge array here. The array base of this array was condensed from the bones of a space-time spirit mouse, and was covered with endless runes. At this moment, several foreign races stood high up in the sky. These foreign races looked no different from humans in appearance. They had a head of purple hair, and a third eye at the center of their brows. This was the royal family of the evil god race. Behind these royal family members of the evil god race was a densely packed and endless foreign race army. Above that huge array was an incomparably huge passageway. The range was several times larger than the vortex on Lu Ming's side. At this moment, there were at least several dozen foreign race powerhouses borrowing the power of the array to bombard the passageway, wanting to open a gap. We must bring back Saint Ancestor Shah Xian's bloodline. Once Saint Ancestor Shah Xian revives, our race will be invincible in the world. Conquering the heaven realm is just around the corner. One of the royal family members of the evil god race in the middle spoke. This person had a square face and was filled with dignity. It was as if he controlled supreme power. That's right. We must bring back Saint Ancestor Shah Xian's bloodline. It seems like we need to make a trip personally. Beside that royal family member of the evil god race were two other royal family members of the evil god race. At this moment, one of them spoke. All right. The royal family member of the evil god race in the middle nodded, and then said, continue to increase the number of crystals, regardless of the cost. Instantly, the foreign races flew out one after another. A sea of crystals flew into the array. The array shone brightly, and its power became even stronger. Swish. Swish. Chapter 2408. At this time, the great battle already entered the climax. Lu Ming completely suppressed the two foreign race heavenly emperors, his attacks getting fiercer and fiercer. Kill! Lu Ming shouted loudly. One of the foreign race heavenly emperors had his body grabbed by Lu Ming and tore with all his might, tearing that foreign race into two halves. Save me! That foreign race did not die, roaring loudly in horror. Bang! The other foreign race seized the opportunity and launched a fierce attack toward Lu Ming. Lu Ming's body trembled, retreating several steps in a row, and threw that foreign race's body out. That foreign race heavenly emperor's body fused together, his complexion pale. Heavenly emperor realm powerhouses naturally would not die so easily, but they were also scared badly just now. The aura emanating from Lu Ming's body was too terrifying, the killing intent as cold as blades. If there were no other people to help, he would really die at Lu Ming's hands. The two foreign race heavenly emperors had ugly expressions. At this rate, they would really die here. Rumble. At this time, that passageway started vibrating crazily, even more intensely than before. Then that crack became bigger and bigger. Following that, everyone saw two streaks of purple light rush out of the crack. The two streaks of purple light converged, revealing two figures. Two lords. Seeing the two figures, the two foreign race heavenly emperors were wild with joy. These two figures were precisely the foreign race's two royal race powerhouses. Nest, it's really over. Dandan cried out loudly. Originally, the foreign race powerhouses were too many. They could not resist at all. Now another two came. Furthermore, it was even two foreign race royal races. From the expressions of the two foreign race heavenly emperors, one could tell that these two foreign race royal races were absolutely very horrifying existences. A bunch of trash, move aside for me. One of the foreign race royal races stepped forward, a head of purple hair fluttering. His body suffused with a resplendent purple light. At the same time he smacked a palm out. A purple palm was incomparably huge, suppressing down toward Lu Ming. That kind of aura was simply earth-shaking, making people's expressions change. Peerless powerhouse, this is a peerless powerhouse. Dandan couldn't help but exclaim. Today was really over. This foreign race royal was a peerless powerhouse above 4-star heavenly emperor. His strength was even stronger than that peerless powerhouse from before, terrifying to the extreme. Apart from that, there was still a king of a foreign race who had yet to make a move, but his strength was definitely terrifying as well. However, in the face of this move, Lu Ming didn't panic at all. Or rather, he didn't know what panic was. In his heart, there was only death. Power, power, kill, kill. Lu Ming roared madly, his instincts telling him to continuously borrow the power of his third bloodline. Tremendous power poured out of Lu Ming's third bloodline, and into Lu Ming's body. Puff, puff. Cracks began to appear on Lu Ming's body, and blood flowed out continuously. Lu Ming could not borrow the power of the third bloodline endlessly, because his physical strength was limited. If he used too much power, his body would explode. He could borrow such a powerful force to suppress a heavenly emperor, and it was all thanks to his strong physical body. Otherwise, it would be impossible. Now Lu Ming had reached his limit. Roar! Lu Ming soared into the sky like a wild beast and punched the palm of the foreign race royal. Boom! There was an earth-shattering explosion. Lu Ming's body shook violently, and he flew back like a kite with a broken string. His body cracked, and he coughed out large mouthfuls of blood. This was the other party being merciful. The foreign race royal obviously didn't want to kill Lu Ming. They wanted to capture Lu Ming alive and keep him for great use. Stubborn resistance. The foreign race royal said coldly. He stretched out his hand again, and another palm pressed down on Lu Ming. Lu Ming roared, not afraid at all, and fought against the other party again. This time, Lu Ming was sent flying again, and his injuries were even more serious. What are you all still standing there for? Go and kill those people. A space-time spirit mouse and a world turtle. Just nice to get rid of them. The foreign race royal who didn't make a move ordered coldly. The two foreign race heavenly emperors' faces changed, and they stepped out at the same time, charging towards Dandan and the others. The foreign race royal who didn't make a move went towards 2-1 and Lei 1. They wanted to end this battle once and for all. Right at this moment, moo! A cow's roar suddenly came from afar. The roar was earth-shattering, and it carried a terrifying power that swept over. Those low-level foreign races that were below the great emperor realm were blasted apart by the roar, and their bodies and souls were destroyed. Even the great emperor realm foreign races were struck by lightning. Their bodies cracked, and they coughed out large mouthfuls of blood. They were severely injured. In an instant, who knew how many foreign races died on the spot? However, the strange thing was that Dandan and Bubbles were unharmed. Lu Ming, on the other hand, was jolted awake by this cry. His consciousness, which had been completely drowned by the murderous intent. He could barely discern his current situation. This roar. Lu Ming's heart was filled with joy. Old cow, it's that old cow. Ha ha ha. Dandan laughed maniacally. In the distance, a giant cow that was as tall as the sky was walking towards them. It seemed to be moving slowly, but it was actually shockingly fast. In an instant, it was already in front of them. Moo! The giant cow roared again, and a terrifying sound wave rushed towards the foreign race royal and the foreign race heavenly emperors. The two ordinary foreign race heavenly emperors' faces changed drastically. They tried their best to resist, but they were still sent flying and coughed out large mouthfuls of blood. Titan Longhorn Bull. The foreign race royal who attacked Lu Ming shouted angrily. His body glowed, and he struck out with his palms to resist the sound wave. Boom! Boom! Violent shockwaves rang out, and the foreign race royal's body trembled continuously. Titan Longhorn Bull. Yes, this giant cow was the Titan Longhorn Bull. Lu Ming had never thought that the Titan Longhorn Bull would dare to come to his aid at this critical moment. Wasn't the Titan Longhorn Bull guarding a forbidden land in that Song state? Why would it come here? You're just a seriously injured cow. Do you think you can save them by coming here? You'll die together with them today. The foreign race royal who didn't attack previously said coldly. He took a step forward, and a terrifying aura erupted from his body. He was even stronger than the foreign race royal who attacked previously. What if I join you? A figure suddenly appeared beside the Titan Longhorn Bull. It was a middle-aged man. He was tall and thin, but he was handsome. His eyes were sharp, but they were filled with vicissitudes of life. However, he exuded an unfathomable aura. Jiuming, it's you. Ha ha ha, you're all here to save me, right? Ha ha ha. Dandan laughed maniacally. Interesting. 4 of the top 10 beasts of the heaven domain came today. Let's get rid of them together. The foreign race royal who didn't attack previously said coldly. His body glowed with purple light. He took a step forward and threw a punch at the tall and thin middle-aged man. The other foreign race royal charged towards the Titan Longhorn Bull. An incomparably intense battle unfolded. Go quickly. Chapter 2409. Lu Ming's body was covered in blood-red mist as he turned into a ray of light and charged towards the 2 heavenly emperors. Wherever he passed, the bodies of the other races would explode. The countenances of the 2 heavenly emperors from foreign races changed drastically. They did not seek to achieve anything, but to avoid making any mistakes. The 2 of them joined forces to defend with all their might. However, they were still hit by Lu Ming's move until they vomited large mouthfuls of blood and almost died. Retreat. The Titan Longhorn Bull's voice resounded through the sky as its horn slashed towards the other party. You want to save people with your severely injured bodies? Don't even think about leaving today. The Heavenly Emperor roared as his body was drowned in purple light. He was extremely powerful as he fought with the Titan Longhorn Bull. If the Titan Longhorn Bull was at its peak in the ancient era, he wouldn't be its opponent. However, the Titan Longhorn Bull was severely injured in the ancient war and had yet to recover. He wasn't afraid at all. Moo. The Titan Longhorn Bull roared. Its roar shook the sky and the void collapsed. In the distance, Tu Yi and Lei Yi were still fighting with a peerless heavenly emperor. However, at this moment, the Titan Longhorn Bull's roar rushed over. The peerless heavenly emperor's face changed as he tried his best to resist, and took a few steps back. Tu Yi and Lei Yi finally found an opportunity to escape and retreat 10,000 miles to Lu Ming's side. Young master, let's go. Tu Yi roared. Let's go. Lu Ming was affected by the Titan Longhorn Bull, and barely regained a trace of clarity. He also understood the current situation, and it was best to retreat. Swoosh. 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 They retreated quickly. Stay. Right at this moment, there was a loud shout in the sky. Then the sky cracked open and a huge purple hand stretched out from the sky. It was so huge that it covered the sky and the sun. It grabbed toward Lu Ming, Tu Yi, Lei Yi, and the rest. The pressure was extremely strong, and was the strongest expert Lu Ming had encountered so far. How is this possible? Lu Ming's pupils contracted rapidly. The other party didn't attack through the passage but directly broke through the void. If the other party was in the fiend god realm, he could directly break through the void to attack. This kind of strength was too frightening. Oh no, a peak-level heavenly emperor, retreat! Dandan shouted. However, in the face of this huge palm, there was no way to retreat. Young master, leave now. Tu Yi roared and unleashed all his strength. He pushed the meteor hammer to the limit and smashed it towards the giant hand. At the same time, Lei Yi also activated the heavenly Dao weapon with all his strength to attack the big hand. Roar. Lu Ming's eyes were filled with cold killing intent. His entire body was covered in bone spikes, making him look extremely ferocious. He also attacked that large hand. With the 3 of them working together, their power was extremely powerful as they bombarded the purple hand. Boom. 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 3 consecutive earth-shattering explosions erupted. The airwaves whistled as if they could topple the mountains and overturn the seas. The 2 heavenly Dao soldiers shook violently, and then flew back. Tu-1 and Lei-1 were shocked by the force, and were sent flying tens of thousands of miles away. Lu Ming's body shook violently as well. He spat out mouthfuls of blood, and was sent flying backwards. However, just as Lu Ming was about to fly backwards, the purple hand erupted with an incomparably powerful suction force, sucking him in and causing him to fly towards the purple hand instead. Not good. The Titan Longhorn Beetle and the tall and thin man named Jiuming wanted to help, but they were entangled by the 2 foreign tribe royals. Swoosh. Lu Ming flew directly towards the palm of that large hand. Roar. Lu Ming unleashed all his strength, but it was useless. That large hand was sturdy and indestructible. Its power was extremely powerful and could not be blasted away at all. In the next moment, that large hand clenched and directly grabbed Lu Ming in its hand. At this moment, a terrifying and boundless power surged into Lu Ming's body. Lu Ming's body trembled. What little consciousness he had also fell into a blur and lost consciousness. After that large hand grabbed Lu Ming, it retracted back. "Young master!" Tu Wan and Lei Wan roared, wanting to save him. "Don't be rash. The person who attacked is a peak heavenly emperor. Although he attacked from an infinite distance and the power is greatly reduced, Lu Ming has already been captured by him. With our strength, we can't save him. Retreat first." The Titan Longhorn Beetle roared. The aura on his body became stronger and stronger. With a sudden roar, he forced the other party back repeatedly. "Titan, you take them away first. I'll block the foreign tribes," the tall and thin middle-aged man said. The aura on his body also became stronger and stronger. The power of his attack was even more shocking. He actually forcefully blocked the two foreign tribe royals. With a heavily injured body, you can forget about recovering to your peak for the rest of your life. A foreign tribe royal roared angrily. However, the two of them were blocked by the tall and thin man. The Titan Longhorn Beetle's huge body charged towards Dandan and the rest. Moo! With a loud roar, even the foreign tribe peerless powerhouse at the beginning could not block it. His body trembled violently and he retreated repeatedly. The bodies of the two foreign tribe ordinary heavenly emperors exploded directly, their bodies and souls annihilated. A large number of foreign tribes below the heavenly emperor level died directly. The Titan Longhorn Beetle's huge body arrived beside Dandan and the rest. A surge of power swept them up and rushed towards Tu Wan and Lei Wan. "Big brother Lu Ming!" Bubbles shouted, her eyes staring straight ahead. At this time, the big hand that grabbed Lu Ming had already retracted and disappeared into the eternal void. Sigh. The Titan Longhorn Beetle also sighed secretly. It was not that he did not want to save them, but that he could not save them at all. The other party was too strong. He was a peak heavenly emperor existence, a true peak powerhouse. If he was at his peak, he could compete with the other party. Unfortunately, he was seriously injured in the ancient war, and had not recovered yet. His strength was greatly reduced, and he was no match for the other party at all. "Let's go," inform the heavenly realm powerhouses, and send someone to guard this place. The Titan Longhorn Beetle activated another surge of power, and swept Tu Wan and Lei Wan into the distance at an extremely fast speed. Damn it! The two foreign tribe royals roared angrily and attacked crazily, wanting to kill the tall and thin man. However, the tall and thin man's strength was still above the Titan Longhorn Beetle. At this time, he did not care about his injuries and erupted with a shocking attack, repelling the two of them in one fell swoop. His figure swayed, shattered the void, and disappeared. The two foreign tribe royals' faces were extremely gloomy. "The rest of you, retreat to our world first. When the passage is fully opened, we will attack here. The heavenly realm and the primordial realm will fall into our hands sooner or later." One of the foreign tribe royals shouted loudly, and then returned in a flash. Not long after, on a mountain peak in the primordial continent, Dandan, Bubbles, Tu Wan, Lei Wan, the Titan Longhorn Beetle, and the tall and thin man gathered. "Titan Jioming, thank you for saving me this time." Dandan sighed. "I also inadvertently discovered the abnormality here, so I asked Titan to come with me. I didn't expect to encounter such a scene." The tall and thin man sighed. This tall and thin man was one of the top 10 battle beasts, the 9 lives demonic silkworm. "Big brother Lu Ming, will he be okay?" Bubbles was extremely worried. He shouldn't be. Lu Ming's bloodline origin is shocking. Listening to the other party's conversation just now, he probably won't kill Lu Ming. Dandan said. During the previous battle, the other party roared not to kill Lu Ming, and to kill the others without mercy. This made Dandan think of many things. "I hope so." Tu Wan and Lei Wan sighed. "Let's return to the heavenly realm first and spread the news." Chapter 24:10. In an ancient secret chamber in the evil god realm, Lu Ming was lying in the middle of the chamber. He was shrouded in a thick blood aura and killing intent. Around Lu Ming, there were more than 10 figures. More than half of these figures were purple-haired royalty of the foreign races. Those who were at the entrance of the passage were all present. The other foreign races also had powerful auras. These were the top elites of the evil god tribe. The weakest of them was a 4-star heavenly emperor. At this moment, the foreign races were staring at Lu Ming with burning eyes. It's really the Saint Ancestor Sha Xian. I didn't expect him to survive the battle back then. He left behind his bloodline and was reborn in a human. I really didn't expect him. An old man exclaimed. This old man was also a royalty of the foreign race. However, he was very old. His face was full of wrinkles and his purple hair had lost its luster. Ha ha ha, the heavens are really protecting our tribe. If the Saint Ancestor Sha Xian is not dead, our tribe will definitely flatten the heaven world and break through the world to achieve unparalleled glory. That's right. When the time comes, flatten the heaven world will be as easy as flipping our hands. The ancestral dragon will not be able to stop us. The other foreign races were extremely excited and laughed heartily. They were waiting for the awakening of the Saint Ancestor Sha Xian. However, at this moment, their faces changed drastically. This was because Lu Ming's body was emitting a different kind of light. Buzz. Lu Ming's body vibrated. Then a stone tablet appeared and expanded rapidly. The stone tablet vibrated continuously and emitted layers of black light that surged towards Lu Ming's body. That's right. This stone tablet was the suppressing stone tablet. The light emitted by the suppressing stone tablet surged into Lu Ming's body and emitted a terrifying suppressing force. It was suppressing the third bloodline's blood-red light. Kill, kill, kill. The blood-red light roared continuously, wanting to destroy Lu Ming completely and replace him. However, the suppressing stone tablet shone brightly, and its suppressing force was extremely strong. It kept suppressing the blood-red light. The third bloodline's blood-red light was suppressed by the suppressing stone tablet. It wriggled slowly and retreated back into Lu Ming's body. The blood qi on Lu Ming's body slowly thinned. The dozen or so outsiders were all dumbfounded. The prison suppressing steel. It's the prison suppressing steel. Damn it. Why is the prison suppressing steel in this person's body? Damn it. I get it now. The prison suppressing steel is also this person's bloodline. It was used to suppress Saint Ancestor Sha Xian. What a cunning scheme. Damn it. Let's attack and seize the prison suppressing steel. Not bad. The dozen or so outsider experts roared. Boom. 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 3 foreign races attacked at the same time. The cultivation bases of these 3 foreign races were shockingly strong. Each of them was a 5 or 6-star heavenly emperor. The 3 of them made their moves. Their powers formed a sealing force that enveloped the prison suppressing monument. They wanted to pull the monument out of Lu Ming's body. Wang, wang, wang. The prison suppressing steel shook violently. Lu Ming's body also shook slightly. Strip. The 3 of them roared and erupted with all of their strength. But at this moment, the prison suppressing monument suddenly shook violently. At the same time, it shone brightly. A terrifying power emanated from the prison suppressing monument, as if it could suppress the heavens. Bam. 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 The 3 foreign race experts shuddered violently as if they had suffered a terrifying attack. They retreated and spat out mouthfuls of blood. Their faces were pale. As expected of the prison-suppressing monument. The natal divine weapon of that person back then is extraordinary. Although it is not complete, the power it contains is extremely shocking. Let's attack together. A majestic royal of a foreign race said. All right, let's attack together. The others nodded. Immediately, the dozen or so foreign races exuded an extremely terrifying aura. Among these foreign races, the weakest one was a 4-star heavenly emperor. The strongest one was a peak heavenly emperor. When the dozen or so of them attacked together, they could dominate the world. At the same time, the dozen or so people attacked together. More than 10 rays of light turned into a sealing force. They wanted to imprison the prison-suppressing monument, and then strip it out. Wang. Wang. The prison-suppressing monument shook violently. Then it started to expand and a terrifying power erupted from it. The power of this power was even stronger than the dozen or so foreign races combined. Well, in the end, the prison-suppressing monument shook violently. An even more terrifying power spread out and destroyed the sealing force of the dozen or so foreign races. Moreover, the dozen or so foreign races were repelled by the power of the prison-suppressing monument and were forced to retreat. A few of the weaker ones were knocked against the walls of the secret chamber. Their faces were extremely pale and blood was oozing out of their mouths. The dozen or so foreign races' faces were extremely ugly. With their strength, they could not do anything to the prison-suppressing monument. Damn it. The power of the prison-suppressing monument is too strong. Not to mention us, even an undefeatable expert would not be able to strip it off. Unless someone of the same level as us makes a move. A foreign race old man said with an ugly expression. The others' faces were gloomy. Where could they find someone of the same level as them? Did they have to ask the old ancestor for help? However, the old ancestor was severely injured in the battle back then, and had been in a deep slumber. How could he make a move now? What should we do? Someone asked. There is only one way to strip the prison-suppressing monument. That is to make this kid do it willingly. As long as he cooperates, it will be easy to strip the prison-suppressing monument. Then Saint Ancestor Shah Xian will wake up. The majestic royal of a foreign race said. This kid will cooperate? The others were not convinced. There is no other way. We can only wait for him to wake up. The majestic royal said. Left with no choice, they could only wait. The prison-suppressing monument floated above Lu Ming. Its radiance became brighter and brighter, forming a suppressive force that surged into Lu Ming's body. The blood-red mist on Lu Ming's body slowly faded away. Lu Ming's consciousness fell into darkness. It was as if he was floating in the darkness without any concept of time. He did not know how long he had been floating in the darkness. After some time, a beam of light pierced through the darkness. Lu Ming immediately rushed toward the beam of light. Boom. Lu Ming felt a jolt in his head, and his consciousness returned in an instant. What happened? Oh right, we found out that the foreign races were trying to open the passage. We went to stop them. A terrifying battle broke out. I used the power of the third bloodline. And the Titan Longhorn Beetle. I was captured. Lu Ming muttered. Everything appeared in his mind. Dandan Bubbles 2E and Lei. How are they? They should be fine with the Titan Longhorn Beetle around. Lu Ming was worried and suddenly opened his eyes. What came into view was a secret chamber. There were pieces of luminous stones inlaid in the secret chamber, illuminating it as if it was daytime. A purple-haired middle-aged man with a square face looked very majestic. He looked at Lu Ming with his hands behind his back. There was no one else except for him. You're finally awake. Your name is Lu Ming, right? The majestic middle-aged man said. Even his voice was quite majestic. Who are you? Wait, you are a foreign race. Lu Ming squinted his eyes because he saw that there was a third eye between the man's eyebrows. A royal of a foreign race. Chapter 24:11. I am Mo Luojia, the barrier-breaking general of the evil god realm. The middle-aged man spoke. Barrier-breaking general, breaking my heaven realm? Lu Ming sneered. Mo Luojia's eyes were calm, and he did not speak. Is this the evil god realm? You captured me, didn't you? Lu Ming said. He sensed carefully and found that this place was different from the primordial realm of the heaven realm. The space here was filled with a strange energy, which was very different from the primordial realm of the heaven realm. But Lu Ming's eyes suddenly lit up. He found that the laws of heaven and earth here were exactly the same as the primordial realm of the heaven realm. He originally thought that the evil god tribe and the primordial realm of the heaven realm were two different worlds, and the laws of heaven and earth would be completely different. He did not expect that they were exactly the same. Strange. Lu Ming was surprised, but this was a good thing for him. That's right, I captured you. Mo Luojia stared at Lu Ming and said, Now, I need your cooperation. My cooperation? Lu Ming's lips curled into a mocking smile. Tell me. Cooperate and let me strip the prison-suppressing steel from your body. Mo Luojia said. You know I have the prison-suppressing steel? Lu Ming's eyes flickered. From the beginning to the end, he had not used the prison-suppressing steel. How did the other party know? Was it because the other party's cultivation was so strong that he saw through everything? Or did something happen when he was unconscious? Wait, how did I wake up? I crazily borrowed the power of the third bloodline, and my consciousness was already devoured by the endless killing intent of the third bloodline. I was about to become a killing puppet. How did I wake up? It can't be that the other party saved me. Could it be the prison-suppressing steel? Lu Ming suddenly remembered that when he had just obtained a drop of ancestral dragon blood, it had caused the third bloodline to go berserk. But later, the prison-suppressing steel erupted and suppressed the third bloodline. Could it be that the prison-suppressing steel saved him again this time? Was it because the prison-suppressing steel suppressed the power of the third bloodline that he could wake up? Very likely. That was why the other party knew that he had the prison-suppressing steel. What is the third bloodline? Hold on, Saint Ancestor Sha-Xian. During the previous battle, the other party shouted Saint Ancestor Sha-Xian. Could he be referring to the third bloodline? What is the third bloodline? What did it have to do with the outsiders? Could it be that they want me to be devoured by the third bloodline? At that instant, a few thoughts crossed Lu Ming's mind. How smart was he? Based on some scattered clues, he was actually able to deduce most of the truth. Looks like if I don't cooperate, you won't be able to remove the prison-suppressing steel. The smile on Lu Ming's face widened. Instead of answering directly, Wuxia said coldly, "You just need to cooperate." Ha ha ha, I took the initiative to cooperate. I'm afraid that after the prison-suppressing steel is taken away, it will also be the time of my death. How can I be that stupid? Lu Ming laughed loudly. You don't deserve it. Only death awaits you, Wuxia said coldly. Oh really? Then you can kill me now, Lu Ming said. You. A cold light flashed in Wuxia's eyes. He did not expect Lu Ming to be so difficult to deal with at such a young age. If they could kill Lu Ming, they would have killed Lu Ming a long time ago. But if they killed Lu Ming, Saint Ancestor Sha-Xian would not be able to wake up. Tell me, why do you want to remove the prison-suppressing steel? Who is Saint Ancestor Sha-Xian? What is his relationship with my third bloodline? Lu Ming stared at Wuxia and asked a few questions in a row. Since he had fallen into the hands of the outsiders, he was ready to risk everything. At worst, he would die. These are not questions for you to ask. Wuxia stared coldly at Lu Ming and said, It looks like you don't agree? Even if I agree, I'm afraid I'll still die. Without the hell-suppressing monument, I'll be devoured by the boundless killing intent. Rather than turning into a killing puppet, I'd rather you guys just kill me. Lu Ming smiled faintly and did not care. If you agree, I can guarantee that you won't die. I can extract your soul and find you a suitable body so that you can seize it and be reborn, Wuxia said. Thank you for your kindness. Lu Ming smiled faintly. Extract his soul and find a new body? What a joke. He would rather die. Moreover, he concluded that the outsiders were so eager to remove the prison-suppressing steel and let the third bloodline devour him. There must be a conspiracy. Saint Ancestor Sha-Xian, could it be that my third bloodline is a terrifying expert of the outsiders who has been reborn in me and wants to use my body to be reborn? But my second bloodline is the prison-suppressing steel, which happens to suppress the third bloodline? Lu Ming's imagination ran wild. If that was the case, he would not agree. Otherwise, the heaven realm and the primordial realm would suffer. Don't think that we can't do anything if you don't agree. Wuxia waved his sleeves and left with a cold face. The door of the secret chamber closed, leaving Lu Ming alone. Lu Ming smiled faintly. He walked to the side of the secret chamber and observed the walls. The walls of the secret room were made of an unknown material, and there were mysterious runes drawn on them. Lu Ming shook his head. He knew that since the outsiders were so confident in locking him in here, it would be wishful thinking for him to break out of this secret chamber. Since I'm here, I might as well take it easy. Since the laws here are the same as those in the heaven realm and the primordial realm, I can still cultivate. Moreover, under such circumstances, the outsiders are not killing me. I'm afraid that killing me will be detrimental to their so-called saint ancestor Sha Xian. At this thought, Lu Ming was relieved. As long as he did not die, there would always be a chance. Lu Ming sat cross-legged and adjusted his state to the best. Then he began to comprehend the law of cause and effect. Now among the 10 supreme laws, Lu Ming only had the law of cause and effect and the law of destiny that he had yet to comprehend. After Marojia walked out of the secret chamber, he came to a large hall. More than a dozen outsider experts were waiting in the main hall. "General, how did it go? Did that kid agree?" An elder asked. "That kid is young, but he's very smart. I'm afraid he's already guessed a lot. He didn't agree at all. He won't be swayed by force or persuasion." Marojia frowned. "Won't be swayed by force or persuasion? That kid is courting death. I'll kill him." A burly foreign tribe expert was furious. But halfway through, he swallowed his words and smiled awkwardly. If he killed Lu Ming, how could the saint ancestor Sha Xian awaken? "General, what should we do now?" someone asked. "Lock that kid up here. We'll study it again, and see if we can find a way to remove the prison suppressing steel from that kid. At the same time, send a message to the other royal tribes. Let them think of a way," Marojia said. "All right, that's the only way. I don't believe that we can't remove a broken piece of the prison suppressing steel." Chapter 24:12. At this point, the other tribes had no other choice. They could not kill Lu Ming, and they could not remove the prison suppressing steel. Only by getting Lu Ming to cooperate willingly could they remove the prison suppressing steel. How could they get Lu Ming to cooperate willingly? That was to make Lu Ming despair, to let Lu Ming see the terrifying strength of the other tribes, and to let Lu Ming understand that the Heaven Realm was no match for the other tribes. The Heaven Realm was destined to be destroyed by the other tribes. Even if Lu Ming did not agree, it would not change the outcome. Then they would give Lu Ming hope, a way to survive, resources, and his family. Only then would Lu Ming yield and agree to the other tribes' conditions. Let him move freely in our realm, but send an expert to follow him, lest he gets killed by others. The other tribe king ordered. This was the evil god realm. If a human swaggered on the streets, he would be killed. Yes. Marojia and the others bowed and accepted the order. "All right, let's do that," the other tribe king ordered, then got up and left. On this day, Lu Ming was cultivating when the door to the secret chamber opened again. Marojia and an old man walked in. "Here they come again. In my opinion, you don't have to waste your time. You can't remove the prison suppressing steel." Lu Ming mocked. "We're not here today to remove the prison suppressing steel, but to let you out," Marojia said. "Let me out?" Lu Ming was stunned and surprised. He did not expect the other party to let him out. "That's right. You can go to our realm, but you can only stay here. If you want to return to the Heaven Realm, don't daydream. Let's go." With that, Marojia turned and left. What are these other tribes up to? Lu Ming was confused. However, it was better to be able to leave than to stay in this secret chamber forever. There was nothing to think about. Lu Ming strode out with Marojia. Walking out of the secret chamber, Lu Ming came to a platform, and his eyes flashed. This was because the scenery that entered his eyes was simply too magnificent. This secret chamber should be located at an extremely high position. They stood at this position, towering into the clouds. Their field of vision was extremely wide, and they could see extremely far away. What entered his eyes was a large number of buildings. These buildings were very strange. They were completely different from the buildings in the Heaven Realm. They looked more barbaric, more majestic, and very magnificent. Such buildings were endless and could not be seen at a glance. This was a huge city, even bigger than the ancient city in the Heaven Realm. In the city, figures were constantly flashing. All of them were foreign races. There were burly foreign races with black scales, purple-scaled foreign races, short foreign races with 4 arms, and shadow-like foreign races. There were too many. These foreign tribes did not conceal their auras at all. Lu Ming could clearly sense their terrifying auras soaring into the sky. So many experts. Lu Ming's eyes narrowed. Just by sensing, Lu Ming discovered that there were shockingly many experts among these foreign races. There were large groups of martial emperors. There were also many true emperors. There were even many great emperors. There were too many experts in this world. This is the royal city of our tribe, Wuxia explained. The royal city, no wonder. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. The royal city was usually a place where experts gathered. It was normal for there to be many experts. However, this is just one of the royal cities of our tribe, Wuxia added. One of the royal families? What do you mean? Lu Ming asked subconsciously. Our evil god tribe has a total of 10 royal families. Naturally, we have 10 royal cities. This is one of the royal cities of our tribe. I don't mind telling you that these years, only 3 of the 10 royal families have been attacking the heaven realm. Not all of them, Wuxia said. What? This time Lu Ming's heart trembled violently. There were actually 10 royal families of the foreign races. In these years, only 3 of them had attacked the heaven realm. This meant that the other 7 royal families had not attacked the foreign races. The 3 royal families had already forced the heaven realm into a disadvantageous position. If the 10 royal families all attacked the heaven realm would not be able to resist at all. This was really beyond Lu Ming's expectations. At this moment he was really anxious. Seeing Lu Ming's expression, Wuxia smiled. This was what he wanted to see. Shocked despair. Now you know the strength of our tribe. If the heaven realm wants to fight with us, it's like hitting a stone with an egg, Wuxia sneered. How could this be? No, the heaven realm must have hidden forces. Otherwise, it would have been destroyed by the foreign races long ago. Yes, it's definitely not that simple. There must be something hidden. Otherwise, the foreign races would not have delayed for so many years and not destroyed the heaven realm. Lu Ming's mind turned, and he calmed himself down. Phew. After a while, Lu Ming took a deep breath and calmed down. This kid, Wuxia was shocked. Lu Ming's mental fortitude was beyond his expectations. After hearing that the foreign races were so powerful, he calmed down so quickly. Humph, when you see the real strength of our tribe, let's see how you can stay calm. Wuxia snorted in his heart and ordered. Jia Yi, from now on he will follow him. Do you understand? Yes, great general. The old man beside Wuxia bowed. Swish. Wuxia took a step and disappeared without a trace. Since I'm here, I'll take it easy. Since I'm here, I'll take a good look around. If I can learn more about the secrets of the foreign races, it will be helpful if I can return to the heaven realm in the future. At the thought of this, Lu Ming leaped off the platform and flew downward. Jia Yi was not far behind Lu Ming. After jumping off the platform, Lu Ming walked toward a street. The buildings of the foreign races were simple and tall. Each building was a few hundred meters tall, and the streets were extremely wide. Lu Ming swaggered down the street. On the other hand, the foreign tribesmen on the streets were stunned. Their eyes widened as they stared at Lu Ming. He's not from our tribe? He looks like a human. Yes, he's a human. A human dares to swagger down the street in our tribe's royal city. What's going on? The foreign races on the street discussed animatedly. Furthermore, this news spread like a whirlwind. Soon, the area was surrounded by all kinds of foreign races. Hey, make way, make way. You're blocking the way. Don't you have manners? Lu Ming was very arrogant and scolded them directly. Oh my, this human is so arrogant. A human dares to scold us in our tribe's royal city. He's courting death. A bad-tempered foreign race member shouted, revealing a cold, murderous intent. However, at the sight of Jia Yi, who was beside Lu Ming, all of them shuddered. Jia Yi's aura was too terrifying. Chapter 24:13. It was obvious that Jia Yi was an extremely terrifying existence among the foreign tribes. Because of Jia Yi's existence, no one dared to attack Lu Ming. However, many foreign races were very curious about Lu Ming's background. How could a human appear in the capital of a foreign race so openly and have a powerful cultivator by his side? Make way! Lu Ming shouted and continued to stroll around. However, more and more foreign tribes gathered around him. And there were even heavenly emperors. Kid, it's you. Suddenly, a voice was heard and it was filled with disbelief. In front, the crowd made way and a group of people walked over. The one in the lead had purple hair. He was from the foreign tribe's royal family, and he was very young. It's him, the foreign tribe's prince. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. Back then in the Two-World City, the foreign tribes attacked the city and sent out their younger generation to challenge the Heaven Domain. They wanted to use this to attack the Heaven Domain's morale. At that time, there was a foreign tribe's prince who was very strong. However, he was taken down by Lu Ming and was exchanged for 100 chaos stones. The person in front of him was that prince and his name was Emotianluo. Behind Emotianluo there were a few other figures. Some were from the foreign tribe's royal family, and some were from other tribes. All of them had powerful auras. Greetings to the 8th prince. Around them, many of the foreign tribes bowed and were very respectful. There were many branches of the foreign tribes, and they all had the same bloodline passed down from the same ancestor. However, the foreign tribe's royal family was the tribe whose bloodline was closest to the ancestor. Hence, the royal family had the highest status among the various tribes. As for Emotianluo as a prince, he was the king of the kings and his status was much higher than the ordinary royal family. Of course, the ordinary outsiders treated him with utmost respect. Emotianluo didn't bother about the others as he stared at Lu Ming. Kid, why are you here? Emotianluo's face was gloomy as he asked coldly. Why am I here? You have to ask your ancestors this question. Do you think I want to stay here? Lu Ming curled his lips. Kid, watch your words. Emotianluo chided before looking at Jia Yi. Senior, are you here to ensure his safety? Emotianluo asked. Jia Yi nodded and said, I'll only protect his life. As for his injuries, I don't care at all. Oh. Emotianluo's eyes lit up. Although he was curious as to why Jia Yi would protect the life of a human, it was easy for him to deal with Jia Yi if he only protected his life and did not care about anything else. He wanted Lu Ming to suffer a fate worse than death. Emotianluo's eyes flashed with cold radiance. In the past, he had been taken hostage by Lu Ming in exchange for 100 chaos gems. He had taken this matter to heart, and had always wanted to find an opportunity to take revenge. He didn't expect that the opportunity would be presented to him so easily. How could he let it go? Bang! Emotianluo stepped out as his purple hair fluttered. His entire body was emitting a purple radiance. As the third eye at his glabella opened and closed, it flashed with a cold light. Brat, come out and fight! A cold voice came from Emotianluo's mouth. Around them, many people became excited. Emotianluo was the top genius of the evil god tribe. Back then, he was ranked 9th among the younger generation of the evil god tribe. In the vast evil god race, Emotianluo was ranked 9th. One could see how talented he was. With Emotianluo's current age, he wasn't considered to be from the younger generation. The 8th prince is about to take action. Seems like this human has a grudge with the 8th prince. Haha. How many moves do you think the 8th prince will take him down? At most, it won't be more than 10 moves. It might be an instant kill. You have to know that the 8th prince now has the fighting strength of a rank 18 true emperor. Around them, many of the foreign races were discussing. Fighting strength of a rank 18 true emperor? Lu Ming's lips curled into a smirk with slight disdain. You better find someone stronger. You aren't a match for me, Lu Ming said indifferently. These words made Emotianluo's eyes turn even colder. Brat, you're boasting shamelessly. I would like to see how much progress you have made over the years. Having said that, Emotianluo took a step forward. His body was like a ray of purple light as he charged towards Lu Ming. Boom! Emotianluo slapped out with his palm. In his palm, purple radiance spread out and turned into a terrifying palm print that blasted towards Lu Ming. The foreign race's cultivation system was very similar to the immemorial system of the Heaven Domain. When they attacked, it looked simple but every move they made was extremely powerful. Peak of the true emperor realm. Fighting strength of a rank 18 true emperor. Lu Ming smirked. For a martial emperor, one seclusion would take thousands of years. For Emotianluo to be able to raise his fighting strength from a rank 9 true emperor to a rank 18 true emperor in 100 years, this speed was already very fast and shocking. However, it was a pity that he had met Lu Ming. Lu Ming couldn't be measured by common sense. Lu Ming didn't use his physical strength. His body shone with various radiances of the laws. In an instant, there were more than 10 radiances that intertwined around his body. Swoosh! Lu Ming simply pointed out with his finger. With more than 10 types of laws supporting him, Lu Ming's simple finger became extremely powerful. Lu Ming's finger was like a long spear as it pierced Mo Tianluo's palm. There wasn't any earth-shattering sound, and there weren't any violent scenes. The collision between the two of them was extremely small. Poof! It was like a needle piercing a balloon. With a poof, blood splattered everywhere. Mo Tianluo's palm print and his palm were pierced through by Lu Ming's finger. The destructive force surged towards Mo Tianluo. Mo Tianluo cried out in pain as his body flew out and landed heavily on the ground. His body twitched as he spat out mouthfuls of blood. The entire scene was silent. Mo Tianluo, the prince of the foreign races, was defeated by Lu Ming in one move. He was defeated in an instant. How could this be? 100 years ago, Mo Tianluo was the 9th-ranked genius in the evil god world. He was extremely talented. Although he wasn't part of the younger generation, his fighting strength was undoubtedly stronger. However, he was defeated by Lu Ming in one move. Everyone was stunned as they found it hard to accept. How could this be? Mo Tianluo found it hard to accept as he roared in his heart. He had been working hard for the past few years, and his cultivation had improved rapidly. He was now at the peak of the true emperor realm with the fighting strength of a rank 18 true emperor. Soon, he would be able to break through to the emperor realm. He was confident that he could break through to the emperor realm before he was 200 years old. Becoming a great emperor within 1,000 years was already incredible. Let alone becoming a great emperor within 200 years old. He was already stunning enough, but he was still defeated by Lu Ming in one move. Back then, he had fought with Lu Ming for many moves before Lu Ming defeated him. Initially, he thought that he was strong enough to defeat Lu Ming and take revenge. He didn't expect this outcome. Could it be that Lu Ming had broken through to the emperor realm? Many people couldn't help but think so. Only a great emperor could defeat Mo Tianluo so easily, right? However, the aura that Lu Ming had released earlier was obviously at the true emperor realm. This made many people suspicious. Chapter 24:16. The foreign tribe king Wuxia, and the others did not know that Lu Ming was so strong. Back at the passageway in the heaven realm, Lu Ming had displayed shocking strength and killed many foreign tribe elites. But at that time, Lu Ming had borrowed the power of the third bloodline. The foreign tribe king and the others thought that Lu Ming was so strong because of the power of the saint ancestor Sha Xian. They did not know how strong Lu Ming was. Now that they saw Lu Ming's strength, they were a little surprised. This kid is very talented. I'm afraid it won't be easy to subdue him and make him despair. That's right. This kind of person is definitely a peerless genius in the heaven realm. This kind of person is usually arrogant, supercilious, and extremely confident. It will be difficult to subdue him and make him despair. The rest of the experts voiced their opinions too. This was indeed beyond their expectations. Their original plan was that if Lu Ming was just an ordinary genius, he would definitely be taught a lesson in the evil god realm. At that time, any of the powerful geniuses would be able to subdue Lu Ming. Then Lu Ming would easily despair and submit. But Lu Ming was a rare genius. It would not be easy to make him despair. If there's no other way, we'll take him to the sacred mountain, the foreign tribe king said. Yes, your majesty is wise. The sacred mountain has gathered countless elites. Some of the top people on the longevity list are also on the sacred mountain. I believe that in the face of countless elites, he will definitely be in despair and submit. That's right. Wuxia and the others smiled. At the mention of the sacred mountain, their eyes flashed with respect. Time flew by. After 2 hours, a few rays of light broke through the sky in the distance. In the next moment, a few more figures appeared in the sky. One of them was Mo Tianluo. There were two other people, one of whom was also an outsider royal. However, this outsider royal had a head full of purple hair, and seemed to be in high spirits. Judging from his appearance, he was also very young. As for the other person, he was a shadow-like being of a foreign race. He did not seem to have a physical body. He stood there, but his body swayed like a stream of water. It's Storm and Mo Ping. I didn't expect Storm and Mo Ping to be in Imperial City. Mo Ping is ranked 98 on the longevity list. Storm is ranked 76. Ha ha ha, let's see how that human kid can be arrogant now. There was a burst of excited discussion around them. Obviously, they were very confident in Storm and Mo Ping. From the discussion around them, Lu Ming knew that the foreign tribe king was called Mo Ping. As for the shadow-like foreign race member, he was called Storm, and he was one of the top experts on the evil god world's 10,000 years list. So this is the brat who wants to challenge everyone on the longevity roll? He's really arrogant. Mo Ping said coldly as a sharp glint flashed across his eyes. Then I'll cripple him, and make him lie on the ground like a dog. Ehe. Storm sneered. His voice was ear-piercing, and his shadow-like body swayed. Do you want to go first, or should I? Mo Ping asked Storm. You first. In my opinion, you're enough. Storm's voice sounded again. Alright, I'll meet this kid. Mo Ping stepped out, his body emitting a violent aura. 3-star Great Emperor. Lu Ming's eyes moved. Mo Ping had cultivated for less than 10,000 years, but he was a 3-star Great Emperor. And he was only ranked 98 on the longevity list. Could it be that the 100 people on the longevity list are all 3-star Great Emperors? At this moment, Lu Ming's heart was heavy. It was absolutely shocking that there were 100 people who had cultivated for less than 10,000 years, and had reached the 3-star Great Emperor level. It would not be a problem for them to become heavenly emperors in the future. They could even become peerless experts. The foreign tribes were indeed shockingly powerful. It was no wonder that the celestial field had been defeated in the ancient war. In the end, they could only guard the grand pure sky domain. No, I can't be discouraged. No matter how many experts and geniuses there are, I'll suppress them all in the future. Lu Ming's eyes shone with a bright light and strong fighting spirit. I'm invincible. This was Lu Ming's belief and confidence in himself. No matter how many geniuses and experts there are, I'll suppress them all alone. Kill. Mo Ping shouted coldly. The third eye between his brows shone with a bright light. Then battle swords flew out from his eye. There were a total of 18 battle swords, forming a strange pattern, and slashing toward Lu Ming. What a strange attack. Lu Ming's heart moved. Mo Ping had used the light of destruction in his third eye to form a sword formation. Whoosh. Whoosh. The 18 battle swords formed a strange sword formation. Its power increased exponentially, bursting with boundless sword chi that shrouded Lu Ming. Buzz. Lu Ming's muscles vibrated rapidly as the 6 feathered divine wings were displayed. Lu Ming had mastered too many laws. He had a total of 81 laws and 71 laws of the monarch Tao. The 6 laws required by the 6 feathered divine wings were all included. Not only the 6 feathered divine wings, but the 18 laws of the indestructible ancient scripture were also included. This allowed Lu Ming to use the indestructible ancient scripture to increase its power. Whoosh. Whoosh. Lu Ming's speed was extremely fast. He flashed continuously and dodged the sword chi attacks. None of the sword chi could pierce Lu Ming. Your movement technique is quite fast. Let's see how you dodge it. Mo Ping said coldly. The light in his third eye shone brighter, and the 18 battle swords became even faster. At the same time, he stepped out and rushed toward Lu Ming, throwing out a palm. Boom. A vortex appeared in his palm. The vortex emitted a shocking power. This power spun crazily and brought about a shocking tearing force. It wanted to shroud Lu Ming and tear him to pieces. This power could greatly increase a person's speed and movement technique. Combined with the sword formation formed by the 18 battle swords, it was simply unstoppable. You're defeated. Mo Ping shouted coldly. He was very confident. The reason why he could be ranked 98th on the longevity list and defeat 2 experts who were not weaker than him was because of this move. I'm too lazy to play with you. At this time, Lu Ming's indifferent voice sounded. Then Lu Ming threw out 19 palms in a row. 18 of them were placed on the 18 battle swords, while the other one was aimed at Mo Ping's palm. Pung, pung, pung. Lu Ming's strength was shocking. When he slapped the battle swords, the 18 battle swords immediately exploded. When Lu Ming's palm and Mo Ping's palm collided, Mo Ping's body trembled as if he had been electrocuted. His eyeballs almost popped out. Crack! Chapter 24:17. As Mo Ping landed on the ground, everyone's heart skipped a beat. Defeated. Mo Ping had also been defeated. He seemed to be unable to withstand a single blow from Lu Ming. Mo Ping was a top expert on the longevity list. His cultivation had reached the level of a 3-star great emperor. Yet he was defeated so easily. Lu Ming, this human, had he really only cultivated for less than 200 years? As for Mo Tianluo, his face turned pale. Even Mo Ping was no match for Lu Ming. How was this possible? 100 years ago, he had fought with Lu Ming. At that time, Lu Ming was only slightly stronger than him. But now Lu Ming was so much stronger than him. He felt a huge blow and his state of mind was unstable. Interesting. At this moment, Storm's ear-piercing voice was heard again. His 3 eyes flickered as he sized up Lu Ming. Your physical strength is very strong. It seems like you mainly cultivate your physical body. Storm said coldly. His body seemed to be weightless as he floated out. Why don't you try and find out? Lu Ming curled his lips. Of course I'll try. Storm said. Suddenly he moved. His body trembled and disappeared. Then he suddenly appeared behind Lu Ming. A slender long sword appeared in his hand, and he stabbed at Lu Ming's back. However, Lu Ming seemed to have eyes on the back of his head as he struck back with his palm. However, Storm's body flashed and disappeared without a trace. In the next moment, 8 figures suddenly appeared around Lu Ming. The 8 figures were like a storm. They dashed toward Lu Ming and continued to attack him. All 8 of them are real bodies. Interesting. Lu Ming was surprised. What Storm used was not doppelgangers or illusions to confuse others. All 8 of them were real bodies. All 8 of them had the same cultivation level and were extremely powerful. In an instant, Lu Ming struck out 8 palms at the 8 figures. Boom, boom. 8 explosions rang out as the 8 figures of the storm were repelled by Lu Ming. He's also a 3-star great emperor. Lu Ming's heart stirred. The other party's cultivation was also a 3-star martial emperor. However, he had already reached the peak of the 3-star martial emperor realm. Furthermore, his attack technique was extremely strange and unpredictable. His strength was indeed stronger than Mo Ping's. Again, the storm 8 shadows retreated, and their bodies swayed again. This time, each of their bodies was directly split into 2 halves. The 8 silhouettes turned into 16 and attacked Lu Ming. The 16 silhouettes were all real, and their strength was exactly the same. Their strength did not weaken because they were split apart. It's useless no matter how many you split. Lu Ming said coldly. He changed his palm into a fist and punched out continuously. Boom, boom. The terrifying fist force crushed the void. Wherever the fist force passed, everything was destroyed. Storm let out a sharp cry and retreated frantically. However, it was too late. He was crushed by Lu Ming's fist force and the 18 figures exploded one after another. Everyone was greatly shocked. Could it be that Storm was killed by Lu Ming? A top expert on the longevity list had fallen just like that? However, Lu Ming's expression changed slightly at this moment. This was because he realized that his own shadow had suddenly moved. He did not move, but his shadow moved. It was like a sharp sword, piercing towards Lu Ming. It happened so quickly that Lu Ming could not react in time. The sword accurately pierced Lu Ming's body, but it did not pierce through Lu Ming's body. Lu Ming's defensive power was shocking. In addition, Lu Ming had activated the immortal golden body. That terrifying defensive power was not something that a 3-star great emperor could break through. Lu Ming's shadow rapidly distorted, as if it was filled with shock. Get lost. At this moment, Lu Ming roared like a thunderclap, stomping on his own shadow. Lu Ming activated many kinds of laws with this kick. Although Storm's body was strange, it was still restrained by some of Lu Ming's laws. Boom. The power of this stomp was extremely shocking. The ground shook, and cracks appeared on the incomparably hard floor. With a scream, Lu Ming's shadow returned to normal, while Storm's figure appeared in the distance. There were cracks on his body, and his body almost exploded. Of course, this was because Lu Ming had already shown mercy. Otherwise, Storm would have been dead. No matter how many tricks a 3-star Great Emperor had, Lu Ming could easily kill him if he went all out. You can't even withstand a single blow, Lu Ming said coldly. Damn it, how is this possible? At the side, many of the foreign races roared, finding it hard to accept. An expert on the longevity list had defeated 2 people in a row, and one of them was ranked 76th. There was actually such a powerful genius in the human race, and he had cultivated for less than 200 years. Fortunately, he was captured. This was the Fiend God realm. No matter how strong he was, he couldn't do anything. Many of the foreign races comforted themselves. I didn't expect this person to be so strong. High in the sky, the foreign race king, Wuxia, and the others were also very surprised. Lu Ming's strength had completely exceeded their expectations. It's fortunate that such a person was chosen by Saint Ancestor Sha Xine. Otherwise, if he grows up, he'll be a huge threat to our race, Wuxia said. That's right. The others nodded. Let him go to the sacred mountain, the foreign race king said. Things were a little out of his expectations. Originally, he wanted to let the foreign races attack Lu Ming, let Lu Ming feel the strength of the foreign race's experts, and let Lu Ming feel despair and submit. However, he didn't expect that the foreign races would be the ones being attacked. Lu Ming had displayed his invincible might and defeated many foreign race experts, causing many of them to suffer a heavy blow. This had allowed Lu Ming to accumulate more confidence, which was something they didn't want to see. Wuxia nodded, and then his voice was transmitted out. His voice rang in the ears of Mo Tianluo, Mo Ping and Storm. Let him go to the sacred mountain. Mo Tianluo and the others' eyes lit up. That's right, let Lu Ming go to the sacred mountain. There were countless experts there, and there were plenty of people to deal with Lu Ming. Lu Ming, don't be arrogant. Our race has 10 royal families and 10 royal cities. This is just one of the 10 royal cities. Moreover, most of our experts are cultivating in seclusion in the sacred mountain. If you're capable, go to the sacred mountain. Mo Tianluo shouted. That's right. If you're capable, go to the sacred mountain. I'll show you the strength of our race. At that time, you'll understand what it means to be an expert. Mo Ping also shouted. That's right, that's right. If you're capable, go to the sacred mountain. At the side, the other foreign races also shouted. Sacred mountain? Lead the way. Lu Ming said directly. It seemed like the sacred mountain held a high position in the hearts of the foreign races, and a large number of experts were gathered there. It was an important place for the foreign races. Lu Ming wanted to take a look and see how many experts there were in the foreign races. If he could escape in the future, he would be more confident. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.